welcome back to my channel. My goodness, it's been a hot minute. My husband and I were able to take our actual honeymoon, finally. We got married last year. Everything was closed, so we didn't leave and go on a vacation, but we were able to finally go last week. We went to Disney World. It was my very first time going, and oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It was eventful. It was a blast. We absolutely loved the trip. So while we were on the trip, Florida has a much bigger Sephora than we have where I live here. I was able to pick up a couple of products that I've been eyeing for a hot minute. I'm gonna show you them today. So one of the first products we're gonna be testing today, I'm really excited about this. This is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. This is the outer packaging, but I did want to show you because it's very holographic. And then this is the actual cover. Like, look at that. So cool. I've never used a Huda Beauty palette before, but I've watched them be used and they are stunning and the formulas are so impressive. But these tones are seriously like my soul in a palette. So we're opening it up. Look. They're so pretty. The colors that I am like especially drawn to are like my favorite colors in the world. This lavender shade, kind of in these blue aqua world, and then these burgundy purples are so beautiful. There's seriously so much you can do with this palette. You can make something very neutral and wearable with these more like warmer peach, burgundy, gold colors, and then you can go really playful on the blues and purples, and that's where we're gonna live today. I'm so excited. The other thing that we're gonna be testing out today, again, is kind of old news. It's decently new. This is the Urban Decay Stay Naked Hydromaniac Tinted Glow Hydrator. I am all about tinted moisturizers and lightweight hydrating foundations. Like this idea, this vibe, they always feel and look super fresh on the skin, very hydrating. This one claims to be medium coverage up to 24-hour wear. That's a huge claim. Kombucha filtrate. And this is a vegan formula, so that's really great. And then something that I've been using, this actually like has been TikTok viral. This is the NYX Marshmallow Primer. This has 1.5 billion claims. I'm not gonna say all of them, but the biggest thing that I've noticed from this is incredibly smoothing and it is very hydrating. It wears really well under makeup. I didn't have any issues in Florida. I mean, granted, it was kind of cold, but thus far I have loved this stuff. I'm just ready. Let's jump right in. Welcome to Rachel's Pores close-up. I hope you really like it. This hair though. All right, we're gonna prep the eyes with a concealer. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. We're gonna put just a little bit on the eyeballs just to cancel out some redness veins. I do have some extra redness today. I plucked the eyebrows to groom them a bit and they're a little bit crazy. We're taking our damp beauty blender and patting this all over the eyelid. I'm gonna take a Real Techniques contour brush. There's no rules here. We're gonna use this to set the eye, and then we're gonna use the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder, especially because I am gonna be working with some blues and purples. That can really emphasize darkness around the eyes, so it's good to really brighten those areas and kind of conceal, color correct as much as you can. So with that being said, we're gonna put some on the inner eyeball area. My inner eye area is so blue. I have yet to find a concealer that actually conceals the darkness to my eyes. You just go with what you got, you know? You just work with it. Ooh, where do we start, man? This shade right here is called Momentum. It's kind of a peachy eggshell kind of shade. I'm gonna focus that on the transition to kind of use this as a blending base. It's really not a visible shade. All right, that did nothing. I'm gonna go into the Firma 403 blending brush and I'm going to start with Off Balance. Very much a mauve pink. I'm dipping that right into the edge of the brush and I'm gonna take that through the crease, windshield wiper motions. Shade is beautiful. Wow, yeah, this is blending out so beautifully. My goodness, it's so smooth. I'm not seeing any patchiness. Then I do want to take a little bit of the product and put it on the outer third of the eyelid. I'm just kind of going as we go. I don't really know what this is gonna turn into, but it's gonna be great. That is such a pretty pink. This hair though. This is the 231 Dreamcatcher. I've used this a million times before. I'm gonna go into the lavender shade. This one right here, this is Libra. So this Libra shade is very much a light lavender purple, but when it's layered on top of the pink, it creates this really cool color. I like it. Okay, now I want to dig into the blues. Dig into the blues. And I'm going to use a shading brush. If I have one handy, ColourPop E25 flat shading brush. We're going to go into the aqua shade Haze, and we're going to focus that on the inner corner. I've never owned an aqua eyeshadow, and I'm stoked about it. So I'm making sure that I don't drag this into the crease. I want the crease to be that rose shade that we laid down. Okay, so story time while I'm here. We went to SeaWorld as one of the days on our vacation. Always wanted to go. Very first thing we do, we go on this first ride, I think it was the Manta ride, and we get on and it was super cool. Like you're sitting in the seat and then your feet are dangling, but then they turn you like almost upside down to where the whole ride you're like head first going down. It was such a good ride. We get done with the ride and my husband Ryan was like laughing and he was like, oh my gosh, I totally saw somebody lose their phone. And I was like, are you serious? And he was like, it just flew across. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And then we were sitting there and I started thinking about it and I was like, oh my gosh, my phone was in my pocket. That was my phone. I was like, oh my gosh, Ryan, that was my phone. And he just starts laughing and he was like, no, it's not. Yeah, it was. We got off the ride and we spent probably 30-45 minutes like looking around the ride to see if we could find it. We figured out that you can ping another person's iPhone from another iPhone. And so we went and pinged the phone and I found it way up on this like hill underneath trees and bushes and it was totally fine. It was just dirty. So we found my phone. Great story. All right, we're done with the blue. I'm loving it. Now for the center glitter shade, I'm gonna go in with this one here. It's the shade Cosmic. Let me see if I can swatch it and show you. Ooh. Oh my gosh, that looks like metal. Wow. Okay, here we go. So I'm taking that on my ring finger and we're just gonna pack that in the middle of the eye. You know what, I'm gonna spritz a flat shading brush because I want more payoff. This is the ColourPop E26. It's an even smaller shader brush. I'm just gonna spritz it with my ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Setting Mist. Yeah, that's laying it down better. This is beautiful, wow. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is just kind of go in and blend all of the edges. So I'm gonna start with the smaller crease brush that we used on the Libra shade, the light purple, and just dust over the transition shade just to get the edges of that shimmer smooth. I'm gonna go back in with the Haze Aqua shade just to smooth out the edges on the inner corner and kind of bring a little bit more blue back to the party. And then I'm gonna go into my Real Techniques 305, again kind of a flat blending brush. We're gonna deepen the outer corner. I wanna use Hot Mess, great shade name. We're gonna use this just on the outer V. Being careful not to disturb the shimmer too much, but just to build out this outer edge. This is so fun. I'm living mermaid dreams right now. And I'm gonna use the 213 and I'm gonna go into Vortex, the deepest shade in the palette. I'm gonna start really light and then build up with this one because I don't know how much pigment we're gonna get. Do want to focus this on the outer V as well. And then I'm going to go back into the original crease brush that we used for the shade Off Balance. I want to bring a little bit more rose back to those edges, so I'm going to use that to blend everything together on the top. Just dust that over the whole edge so we're meshing everything together. I am digging this. This is fun. I think I'm gonna do lashes with this look. So I'm gonna go in with my L'Oreal Lash Paradise to build up the lashes before we do fake lashes. And my camera shut off midway because it got so hot. So here we are. We have lashes and we have brows done. So let's go into the face. We're gonna prime again with the NYX Marshmallow Primer. I start with a pump and I focus on the most prominent pore area as usual to fill in the pores as much as I can. So for me, that's the nose area, right in the inner cheek. There's a little bit on my chin and then the forehead. And then I'll take what I have left and move it across the rest of the face. This primer smells so good. It smells like marshmallow. And it's not the most pore filling primer that I've ever used. It fills in the pores, but it's definitely more of a smoothing, perfecting the canvas kind of primer. I really like this stuff a lot. All right, let's go into the foundation. I've been dying to use this. For a brush, I'm gonna use the Expert Face brush from Real Techniques. This is what the packaging looks like on the foundation. It's in a tube, it squeezes out of a tip. We're gonna start with about that much, if you can see it. And then I'm gonna start patting that around. I think that's gonna be a great color match. This is in the shade 30 Light. And then I'm gonna start blending that out. So far with the coverage, I definitely agree with the claim that it's medium coverage. And it's definitely building, so that's good. Gosh, that's making my hair even crazier. Ah! Good thing this isn't a hair tutorial. If you want to know how to look like a hot mess like me, leave a comment below. We're going to go in with a beauty blender. I'm going to use just a little bit more to kind of build up that coverage. I am taking this all over the face to press this into the skin, kind of absorb any excess. And it just makes the finish so much more natural. Initial things that I'm noticing upon application, I feel like texture and bumpiness of my skin is a little accentuated. Not terrible, but just a little bit, but it may look better as it sits a little bit longer. And I am gonna set this with powder, so I do think that's gonna help a little bit. That's truly the only negative that I've noticed. Yeah, I'm really liking the finish. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? I'm starting concealer. This is the same e.l.f. one that we used earlier on the eyelids. Fair beige. I didn't tell you that at the beginning. So we're doing the forehead, and then we're gonna go strip down the nose. Here at the chin, I do a little bit on the Cupid's bow just to kind of highlight that spot. And then I've been liking a little bit less concealer, where I just put it right here and then out on the edge, and then I just blend it across. And I feel like it gives the same coverage that I need, but a little bit less product, which I definitely like. I'm just blending this concealer out with the Beauty Blender. And then for right here, I kind of pinch the Beauty Blender a little bit, and then pressing all the rest of it into the skin. And then I'm gonna take the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder, and I'm gonna dip the Beauty Blender in, focus that powder on the tip, and then go press that in under the eye to set the creases. Okay, now I'm gonna take a powder brush. I'm gonna use the ColourPop F30 and set the forehead, really the whole face. All right, let's bronze up the face. I'm gonna use a Luxie tapered face brush. This is also the Dreamcatcher collection, the 520. We're gonna use the Butter Bronzer. This is in the shade Bronzer, words. I'm just gonna swirl that in. We're gonna start to warm back up the face. I've been liking to take my bronzer just a little bit under the cheekbone. Like, look at the difference on both sides. There's just more dimension that you can see here forward than just if I leave it right under the cheekbone on the back side of my face. Pulling it forward a little bit just creates a little more depth. Take a little bronzer under the chin, a little bit under the lip, and then I'm pinching that brush to be super narrow to get right on the sides of the nose. I'm not contouring, but I want a little bit of chiselment. That's a word now. Okay, and I'm gonna take the Beauty Blender and just go over the edges to soften everything. We're gonna use the Milani Baked Powder Blush in the shade Dolce Pink. I'm gonna use the ColourPop F29, very fluffy. I'm going to go so light, and then I'm gonna apply it to the face. Very lightly lifting up. So I'm going in with the Beauty Blender to pat this all down, blend it together with the rest of the products that we have on the skin. See, now look at both sides. Like, this is a lot more intense pink. This is the blended side. It's still there. You still have your color payoff, but this just, oh, this step makes the absolute world of a difference. Okay, highlight. The Becca Ignite Liquid Highlight, right? Yeah, Liquefied Light Highlighter. This is in the shade Passion. So the way that, I'm not gonna worry about it. The way I like to apply this is just take some on my middle finger, pat that together, kind of swirl it, warm it up, and then I just take it on the high points of the cheekbone, blend it up until I get the shine that I want, and you can add more or you can keep it where it is. I love this highlight. It is such a glow from within. Can you see that glow? And then we're gonna take a little bit, put it on the high points of the forehead right here, highlight the bridge of the nose, around the chin, and then we're gonna dust that across the Cupid's bow as well. Okay, let's finish the eyes. Gonna go back into the brush that we used with Hot Mess, the deeper burgundy shade. I'm gonna pinch that even more, and I'm gonna use that on kind of the outer half of the eyelid, and then let go of the pinch and kind of smoke out the edge, but focus it up really tight. I do want a little bit of that aqua shade on the inner corner, so I'm gonna go back in with that, the same brush that we used. I'm gonna focus that on the very, 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 very tip of it, and then hug the lash line. I'm not gonna make this super duper pigmented, but I'm gonna pull that into the other inner half of the eye, kind of fill the space that we didn't use. And that kind of brings out the blue a little bit more too, but in a very subtle way. Okay, and then I'm gonna take the flat shader brush, Donde Está, the 213 that we used in Vortex. I'm gonna dip that in just on the tip, hug the very, very outer edge, tucking that up to the corner of that shade that we have on the top lid as well. Then I'm going to take the brush that we used for the Off Balance shade, not a ton of product, really, really light, and then I'm going to use that to smoke out the lower lash line right underneath those two shades to soften that up and really make it tie in with the top. Like, here's the difference between the two, if you can see that. I'm gonna go in for a lower waterline pop. I'm gonna use the NYX Epic Wear Liner Stick. This is in the shade Frosted Lilac. I love this color, super duper pretty. I'm gonna do this on the entire lower lash line. This is a cool color because it's not dark in pigment. There's a high shine reflect to it. And I'm going to grab the mascara. We're gonna go into the bottom lash line. So now I wanna take the ColourPop E26 small shader brush, go into the reflect shade that we used on the lid, the Cosmic. I'm just gonna pop that on the inner corner. Okay, that's not as reflective as I want for the inner corner, so I'm gonna go in with Becca Lilac Geode highlighter. Still gonna have the same pinkish purple deal, but it's gonna be much more reflective. Oh, that's perfect. Pop just a little bit of that right on the brow bone. I like that. That's really pretty. Okay, now we're gonna do the lip. This is the Too Faced Melted Matte Holiday Collection lip in Sugar Cookie. I'm gonna line the lips with ColourPop Lippy Pencil in the shade BFF. I really wish I could talk and do this. I am not that skilled. And then always fill in the lips just a little bit. Ah, where'd it go? Sugar Cookie. Oh, this liquid lip is so pigmented. I love it. We're gonna go on top with the Milani Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumper in the shade Champagne. I love this stuff. The shine that this adds is so juicy and it's tingly. Like, it's definitely a lip plumper. It's so comfortable to wear. All right, let's set the face. We're gonna use one of my favorite setting sprays. This is the Anastasia Dewy Set. I love the packaging. We're gonna spritz the face. And then take the Beauty Blender as it's drying, compat everything down together. I really love this step. This is really what like brings everything together, locks it in. It's just so great. All right, that is it for this Mercury Retrograde Mermaid vibes look. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's so beautiful. So talking about the things we tried out today, obviously the Huda Beauty palette, stunning, gorgeous, Can't wait to try more colors in here. The mattes all blended out beautifully. The Haze Aqua shade, I noticed that it was being picked up constantly as I was putting things next to it. I constantly had to reapply that color to make it stay. However, something that can help with that is having an actual eyeshadow primer that's a little more tacky, but everything else stayed so well blended on top of each other beautifully. Foundation looks gorgeous. It's sitting on the skin so well. You could go really light with this product, I think, and kind of sheer it out a little bit, or you can build it up to the fullest medium coverage that it'll give you, and that's kind of where we are today. I am gonna keep wearing this for sure. Let me know in the comments, like, what do you guys think of this mermaid vibe look? Let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing like a multiple looks from one palette kind of video. I've seen a lot of other makeup artists do like 6 looks in one palette video that's all compiled, just like one look per eye. Let me know if you guys would be interested in something like that. I think that would be really, really fun. Thank you guys so much for being here and watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned some things. If you like this video and you want to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button. And if you would like to be notified each time I upload, click on the bell and you will receive a notification each time there is a new video. I love you guys so much. I will see you next time. Bye.